I interviewed this 25-year-old real estate investor who is killing it. He's been investing for 3 years and is about to make enough to make his mom retire. He's gonna teach us his lessons so you can get started just like him.
How much you buy this property for?
$230,000.
How much you plan on flipping it for?
$310,000.
We go check it out?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Tell me a story about how you found this deal.
This was from an off-market wholesaler that reached out to me about this property. He didn't have it under contract. So I came out here, started negotiating with the owner, and then it just went absolutely sideways as there was other people coming here. So I inflated my price a little bit when I shouldn't have.
Okay, so what price did you originally have him at before like these other people showed?
It was at 220.
Okay.
And then I came up to 230. So it was like 10,000 over what he originally spoke to me about. He was trying to flip this himself and then he didn't want to for whatever reason. And then he was just not built to be a landlord. So he was like, all right, once these tenants leave, I'm just gonna get up and just pack my stuff, go back to just being an insurance, like real estate insurance adjuster.
So he's quitting.
Yeah, he's quitting after one deal, you know. So
that's all it took.
Yep.
He said he was gonna keep it as a rental. Would this have cash flowed as a rental, you think?
For him, yeah, at his prices that he bought it at. He bought it at like 170,000 and he could have just like not make it this nice for a flip. He could have just made a rental grade and just kept on renting it out. It would have been cash flow great for him.
Did he do anything to it?
No.
Oh.
At all.
So he just made 50K on...
Plus all the rental income that he generated throughout the 2 years. So he made out well, we didn't, you know, but it's all a lesson learned. Now I know what not to ever do again. And it all balances out with my other projects I have, so that's fine. So this is one of the bedrooms that we did. Sheetrock had imperfections. We go ahead and detail all that out, perfect that, correct anything that we had to correct. Brand new trim, brand new windows. Everything in here is basically brand new. One of the major things that we had to do was bring up all the HVAC vents a little bit higher so they don't get in the way of the trim, itself.
Okay, was that something you decided to do? Was the contractor told you to do?
So a buddy of mine told me to do that and it made perfect sense. So for just a little bit extra, we were able to bring it up and now it looks like a new build instead of just like a really, really outdated home that just had some lipstick thrown on top of it.
Okay, so you were mentioning that you have done a lot of other projects. How many projects do you have going on right now?
Right now, other than a new build, we have 6 other projects going on.
So you have a new build and 6 other projects and this one, so you got 8 ones going on at the same time?
No, 7 altogether. So this is including, the 6 that we have going on.
Wow, okay. Yeah. And are you doing this full time or are you doing this part time or are you doing it?
Full time. I started off just wholesaling. And then I got bullied into buying. So then I started buying and holding. One of my buyers bullied me into actually
he was
just
like,
keeping
you should buy this house?
Yeah. So he was like, I already got too much going on, but you should just take this on yourself. You shouldn't wholesale it. It's a good deal. So then I reached out to one of my mentors and she was actually the one that was like gonna push me over the edge on just going ahead and making that leap of faith.
So you mentioned that you wholesaled first. How'd you get your first deal?
So my first deal was virtual. I had it in Texas. Austin, Texas. I wholesaled it all the way from my mom's basement in New Jersey. So I was just cold calling. Why did you pick
Austin out of all places?
We're going nationwide and that's where I hit gold.
So what did you use? Like what kind of software?
PropStream to pull all the leads.
Okay.
At the time, I didn't even have any money left to do my own marketing. So I reached out to one of my buddies that was wholesaling full time and I was like, hey, let me work with you. You pay marketing spend and I'll crank out these leads all day, every day.
So you're just cold calling basically?
Cold called for like 6-7 months straight before I got that deal.
Damn.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't hear that though because they just hear about I made 100K in this wholesale deal, 50K in this wholesale deal, and like, you had to do it for 6 to 7 months before.
And the payout was only $2,500.
$2,500, so you worked for free basically. That's not even groceries for 7 months.
I know. I was literally in credit card debt, all my life savings just gone. It was just like, I'm gonna do this or I'm gonna die trying. And that's what it was. I just kept racking up credit card debt after credit card debt. And then finally this deal unlocked my new addiction. And it was just like the itch to the next deal and the next deal and the next deal.
Tell me about this addiction feeling that you had. You started off and you were like, I got my first deal and now I'm addicted. I had a similar feeling,
right.
So I want to know what your experience was.
Yeah, man, my biggest thing getting into this game was basically buying and holding. So all I knew was the more money I can generate, the more money I can use to go ahead and buy and hold real estate. And so I knew that this finally worked. I knew it was already real, but now I had proof of concept and I was holding a real life, like check in real life.
Even though it was only $2,500 for 7 months.
Yeah, but it was a massive accomplishment for me. Now I actually just did this, so now I can just replicate. And all my work from the 6 to 7 months prior, it started compounding. And then now I had leads from month 2, month 3, so on and so forth. So then it became into a rolling snowball down the mountain. It just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. More lead flow kept coming in as I just kept on staying consistent. And then, you know, we're here now.
How quick was it to you get your second deal after that first one?
Month and a half to 2 months, I'd say.
Okay, so you went from 7 months down to 2 months. And then, so then after that, it was just more consistent?
Way more consistent, yeah. Because now I just started reinvesting all that money. Instead of being a smart guy and paying off that credit card debt, I would just keep reinvesting this and still living like I was absolutely broke. So I'd cold call like 8 to 10 hours a day, and I'd go drive Uber for the rest of my time, just trying to pay bills and scratch by.
And how old were you when you did this?
This was just 3 years ago.
But how old are you now?
25.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Damn. Did you go to college?
I did for a year and 3 semesters before I dropped out.
You didn't want to go to school?
No, I didn't want to go to school from the get-go. I didn't want to just like, you know, make my parents so unhappy. But after I heard my college professor tell me he never had a business in his life, I had to leave and never come back ever since, you know.
It was your business professor teaching you about business, but had never had a business.
Exactly, yeah. Where I'm standing now, there used to be a bathtub. We gutted all of this out. Absolutely everything in here is replaced, including this window. We tiled all around, even on the floors, and then just brand new sheetrock.
Let's talk about the numbers of what you're planning on making from this deal.
So bought it for $230. Spent $40,000 on just the renovation alone. There's 2 rounds of closing costs. There's holding costs as well.
How long have you been holding on to this for?
This has been 3 months so far.
3 months, okay.
Yeah, so it's been eating up a lot. I'll be lucky to just break even on this thing.
Okay.
And if we can sell it a little higher than 310, then we'll make a little bit of money. I know my mistake on this, and I know how I'm never gonna do it again. So I didn't add enough of a contingency budget in this project when I was underwriting it, and that's why we are where we're at. So this lesson, it costed me, but I'm more than happy to go ahead and, you know, fulfill on that cost because I learned a lot. And that alone is worth everything.
How often do you have to come to the project to check up on it to make sure that it's all good?
I think once a week you should be all good.
Okay, so we're upstairs in the attic. Would you guys, or I guess this was an attic at one point, you finished it out?
No, so this was already finished out.
Oh, okay.
Except all the sheetrock was horrendous. There were shelves all over this place. Like, entire place was covered in shelves that were built in.
Damn.
So we went and like swung hammers around and we got rid of all that. Plus, we took out carpet that was here. So all new sheetrock, all new windows, all new drywall, or sheetrock. And then all this was reframed out and made like brand new all over again.
What got you into real estate to begin with? Like you dropped out of college and then at some point you started wholesaling. What caused you to get into real estate?
Honestly, just as family, like I have a lot of entrepreneurs in my family and they all like got a 9 to 5.
Are you an immigrant family?
Yeah.
Parents first generation to America, or are you?
I'm also from India as well.
Oh, okay.
So I was born there. I came here when I was 6.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, you know, around all these business folks that saved up their money in their 9 to 5 for 20, 30, 40 years. And then they started buying assets. So I was just like, I don't know what I got to do, but the only thing I care about is making a lot of money to the point where I can buy assets. So that was what got me interested at an early age to just have assets in general. I switched to real estate when I got laid off of my job that I had in 2020 because of COVID. And I was like, I gotta buy some real estate. And I thought that I'd had to have a lot of money. So I started to work different jobs and tried to save up as much as I possibly could. I made a HVAC business with my partner that I got out of because of injuries and stuff. And I started doing door-to-door. Yeah, you know,
door-to-door sales for the HVAC?
No, for pest control and solar. And so I got more than enough motivation I needed to just like, all right, when I get this check from me working here, I'm gonna go back to Jersey and put all the chips, sell all stocks I have, sell everything I have and put it all just for real estate. And so that's what I did. And I drew like a giant like red paper on my wall and I said, I will do it or I will die. So anytime anything got really hard, I looked at it, I'm like, I'm not ready to die yet. So we're gonna keep going.
So do you think you'll ever be a point where you look at the paper and be like, yeah, I'm ready to die?
Never.
Hopefully not. So like, what did you do to learn to get into real estate?
Yeah, so it was basically the door knocking. I ran into a lot of people that just had really bad properties. And so I had a friend that literally just started door knocking over there with us, and then he just left 2 weeks later. And then we were like, what happened? So he was like, oh, I just had one of my deals go through. I got paid a fat check. I'm not coming back here ever again. And then he told me like later on that summer, he did his first flip and made $180,000. And then I was just like,
well, this was in 2020, 2021 in Texas.
Yeah, like 2021.
There's a lot of good timing involved in that.
Yes, definitely, for sure. So he gave me a few people's courses that he paid for, and like we basically like, you know, just worked on everything together. I was like, whatever I got to do to help you out. And he connected me with his buddy when I ran out of marketing funds, and you know, here we are. This is the third bedroom in the attic. We do have some AC here. We have a closet, enough square footage for this to be a legal bedroom. So this is definitely gonna add a lot of value for sure.
Knowing what you know now, what would you have done differently?
Honestly, I would have started wholesaling from the start. As soon as I could have legally signed a document. You know, so 18, I guess. Or even earlier if I knew.
You would have started nurturing leads at 17?
Yeah, right? So I figured that basically the skill of acquisitions is the most important skill that you can get in real estate. Because if you can source really just undervalued properties, you can cake in so much equity, and that business alone will just generate enough funds for you to constantly keep buying over and over again. And you just never have an endless supply. As long as you have good amount of deal flow coming in, everything else is fine, even the capital, even if you don't have any.
Yeah. What's your goal with this whole thing? Like, why are you doing all this hard work and
yeah, so
you die?
Definitely. I wanted to retire my parents as early as I possibly can.
Okay.
My mom's literally almost retired now. I have a whole series on my social media as well. That's shyam.invest.
What did you do to get her to where she is now?
Just a lot of wholesaling, buy and holds, fixing and flipping. And yeah, by the end of this year, she's gonna have to quit her job, unfortunately.
What do you mean unfortunate? That sounds like a fortunate thing, no?
Yeah, definitely.